This 2015 Nissan Juke with 78,000 miles just cost its owner $6,800 in transmission repairs. And it's not even the worst example I've documented this month. I'm standing in a repair shop in Phoenix, Arizona, looking at 3 Japanese cars that should still be running strong. Instead, they're mechanical disasters that shattered their owners' bank accounts. That Mitsubishi Mirage over there, the owner just spent $4,000 fixing a CVT transmission that should have lasted twice as long. The Honda Civic next to it, oil dilution destroyed the engine at 65,000 miles. And this Mazda diesel, it's had more check engine lights than a Christmas tree. Here's what the car industry doesn't want you to know. That Toyota or Honda badge doesn't automatically guarantee reliability anymore. Some Japanese models are actually mechanical nightmares that mechanics pray you won't buy. I've spent the last 3 years documenting over 200 Japanese vehicles and interviewing master technicians who've worked on thousands. What I discovered will completely change how you shop for your next car. In the next 12 minutes, I'm exposing the 5 Japanese cars that technicians warn their own families about, plus revealing the 5 models that truly deserve their bulletproof reputation. But here's the thing that shocked me most. The difference between Japanese cars that last forever and those that'll drain your bank account isn't random luck. It's specific models and powertrains that either nailed it or failed spectacularly. Before you spend your hard-earned money on a Japanese vehicle, you need to know which ones deserve their reputation and which ones are riding on brand loyalty alone. What I'm about to show you isn't just about avoiding expensive mistakes. It's about discovering the Japanese cars that are still built the right way. But first, you need to understand what happened to Japanese reliability, because this story starts with a golden age that most people still...
Here's how you can do these insane video effects on yourself in minutes. No skills needed.
Most people still think exists today. In the 1980s and 1990s, Japanese automakers revolutionized manufacturing with quality control that embarrassed American and European makers. Toyota spent over $1 billion developing the original Lexus LS 400. Honda was perfecting the art of bulletproof engineering. These weren't just cars. They were engineering statements that could survive decades of neglect. But something changed around 2005, and most buyers still haven't figured it out. Japanese automakers faced intense pressure to cut costs while simultaneously developing new technologies. This created a perfect storm of reliability issues that many buyers don't discover until it's too late. 3 fatal changes destroyed the reliability myth that still influences car shopping today. First, production shifted globally. That Nissan you're looking at might wear a Japanese badge, but it could be built in Thailand, Mexico, or Tennessee. Different factories, different quality standards, different suppliers, but the same logo on the hood. When I documented Toyota Corollas, I discovered something fascinating. The Japanese-built models had far fewer issues than the Thai-built ones. Same car, same name, completely different reliability profiles. The second factor was the rush to adopt new technologies. CVT transmissions promised better fuel economy, but early versions from Nissan and Mitsubishi were reliability disasters. One mechanic told me he sees CVT failures as early as 60,000 miles. That's half the lifespan of a conventional automatic. Then there's the diesel experiment. Mazda and Subaru both tried to enter the diesel market with catastrophic results. Their diesel engines developed chronic issues with turbos, DPF systems, and fuel delivery. One Mazda specialist I interviewed said, "I would never let my family buy a Mazda diesel, period." But here's what most people miss. Maintenance matters more with modern Japanese cars than ever before. That bulletproof reputation from the 90s came from cars that could survive neglect. Today's Japanese vehicles are less forgiving. What's particularly deceptive is how resale values don't always reflect these reliability differences. That Nissan with the problematic CVT might only be 15% cheaper than the more reliable Honda, despite being twice as likely to need major repairs. This is why blindly trusting Japanese brands without knowing specific models is a recipe for expensive disappointment. Now, let me show you exactly which Japanese cars you should avoid at all costs, starting with the small cars and SUVs that mechanics see limping into their shops far too often. Let's start with the Mitsubishi Mirage, specifically the 2012 to 2021 models. This car might tempt you with its low price tag, but there's a reason it's cheap. The 1.2-liter 3-cylinder engine paired with that horrific CVT transmission creates what mechanics call a perfect storm of problems. One technician I interviewed called it arguably the worst new car you could buy when it was released. The CVT in these cars is particularly troublesome. Mitsubishi claimed they were maintenance-free, which turned out to be code for will fail catastrophically without warning. Most owners don't realize they need fluid changes every 30,000 miles to prevent failure. What's worse, Mitsubishi was going through serious economic challenges during this car's development, and it shows in every corner they cut. The transmission typically fails around 60,000 to 80,000 miles, and replacement costs more than the car is worth at that point. I recently helped a subscriber avoid a 2018 Mirage with 65,000 miles. The seller was asking $8,500, but I knew that CVT was a ticking time bomb. 2 weeks later, we found the same seller relisting it with transmission needs attention for $3,200. You're literally better off buying an older Toyota Yaris than a newer Mirage. At least the Yaris will start reliably every morning. Next up is the Nissan Juke with its CVT transmission. And this one hits close to home because the styling actually took risks in a sea of boring crossovers. The early CVTs in these cars are ticking time bombs, especially if the previous owner skipped fluid changes.
A lot of people don't know this, but the smartest way to earn online as a young Nigerian in 2025 might not involve selling anything at all. Now, selling is great, but why go through all that?
Here's the kicker. Nissan originally claimed these transmissions were maintenance-free. That was completely wrong, and thousands of owners learned this the hard way. One owner described driving his Juke after the CVT started failing as like driving on a waterbed during an earthquake. The transmission creates this vague, disconnected feeling that's not just annoying. It's potentially dangerous in emergency maneuvers. Beyond the transmission, the Juke sacrifices practicality for its quirky styling. The rear visibility is atrocious, the back seats are cramped, and the cargo space is laughable for an SUV. One owner told me it has all the disadvantages of a small car with none of the advantages of an SUV. I documented a 2013 Juke in Colorado that needed a $4,800 CVT replacement at 72,000 miles. The owner had religiously maintained everything else, but didn't know about the CVT fluid changes that Nissan never properly communicated. If you want quirky styling in a small SUV, look elsewhere. The reliability headaches aren't worth it. Here's where things get really frustrating. The Mazda 3 diesel. On paper, it seemed promising. Mazda's fun-to-drive chassis with diesel efficiency. In reality, it's a mechanical disaster that proves even good companies can get it spectacularly wrong. The turbos are chronically problematic, failing as early as 60,000 miles. The pressure sensors fail constantly, triggering check engine lights that most dealers struggle to diagnose correctly. And the EGR systems clog up faster than a drain in a hair salon. One Mazda specialist I interviewed was brutally honest. Everything is problematic with these engines. Everything. He estimated that nearly 70% of the Mazda 3 diesels he sees have had at least one major repair by 100,000 miles. What makes this particularly maddening is that the petrol Mazda 3 is actually a fantastic vehicle. Reliable, fun to drive, and well built. But the diesel version? Avoid it like it's radioactive. I recently met an owner in Melbourne who loved his Mazda 3 so much that when his diesel version became a constant source of expensive repairs, he sold it and bought the exact same car with a petrol engine. He told me, best decision I ever made. Same great car, none of the headaches. The irony is that Mazda's other diesel applications, like in some European markets, work reasonably well. But something about the Mazda 3 diesel implementation went horribly wrong, and owners are paying the price. This one hurts to include because Honda has such a stellar reputation. But the Civic models with a 1.5-liter turbo engine suffer from a serious oil dilution issue that Honda still hasn't fully resolved. Here's what happens. Fuel mixes with the oil during short trips, especially in cold weather, diluting it and reducing its lubricating properties. This can lead to premature engine wear that might not show up until after the warranty expires. A ticking time bomb that many owners don't discover until it's too late. Honda issued a software update to address this problem, but many technicians report the issue persists. One Honda Master Tech told me, "I check my oil level every week in winter. That should tell you something about my confidence in this engine." The problem is particularly severe if you do a lot of short trips or live in a cold climate. The engine doesn't get hot enough to burn off the fuel that's contaminating the oil, leading to a gradual breakdown of lubrication properties. I documented a 2017 Civic in Minnesota that needed a complete engine rebuild at 78,000 miles due to oil dilution damage. The owner had followed Honda's maintenance schedule religiously, but the short winter commutes in sub-zero temperatures created the perfect storm for this issue. What's frustrating is that Honda's naturally aspirated engines are bulletproof, but this turbo application has a fundamental design flaw that affects real-world reliability, especially in harsh climates. Finally, we have the Nissan Pathfinder R52, and this one deserves special attention because it represents everything wrong with modern cost-cutting in the automotive industry. Built in the United States rather than Japan, this SUV feels old and tired even when new. I had one as a press car when it was brand new, with just 13 kilometers on the odometer, and I remember thinking, this is horrible. Why would anyone buy this if they test drove literally anything else in the segment? The timing chain issues on the V6 are well documented, often failing catastrophically with little warning. Unlike a timing belt that gives you signs it's wearing out, timing chain failures can happen suddenly, leaving you stranded and facing a repair bill that often exceeds the vehicle's value. The interior materials are cheap and brittle, with dashboard components cracking in hot climates. One owner in Arizona told me his dashboard started cracking after just 2 years, and Nissan refused to cover it under warranty because they classified it as normal wear. But here's what really bothers me about the Pathfinder. It's not just unreliable, it's also a poor driving experience. The CVT transmission creates that rubber band effect that makes acceleration feel disconnected and unnatural. The steering is vague, the handling is sloppy, and the ride quality manages to be both harsh and floaty at the same time. I recently helped a subscriber who was considering a 2018 Pathfinder with 45,000 miles. The dealer was asking $22,000, which seemed reasonable until we looked deeper. The timing chain was already making noise. The CVT fluid had never been changed, despite Nissan's lifetime claims, and the interior was showing excessive wear for its age. Instead, we found a Toyota Highlander with similar mileage for just $2,000 more. The difference in build quality was immediately apparent. Everything felt more solid, more refined, more like it was built to last. What's particularly frustrating is that Nissan used to build genuinely good vehicles. The previous generation Pathfinder was body-on-frame, reliable, and capable. But this generation represents a race to the bottom in terms of quality and engineering. One automotive journalist who tested multiple Pathfinders over the years told me, "Every time I drive one, I'm reminded why Nissan's sales have been struggling. It's not just that there are better options, it's that this feels like a car from a decade ago, and not in a good way." If you're shopping for a 3-row SUV and see a Pathfinder on your list, do yourself a favor and test drive literally anything else first. The Honda Pilot, Toyota Highlander, even the Mazda CX-9 are all significantly better vehicles that will serve you far better in the long run. Now, let me show you the flip side. The 5 Japanese models that truly deserve their stellar reputations and should be at the top of your shopping list. If you're looking for the perfect blend of practicality, efficiency, and reliability, the Toyota RAV4 Prime stands head and shoulders above the competition. This isn't just another SUV. It's the culmination of Toyota's 25 years of hybrid technology development. What makes the RAV4 Prime special is its dual personality. With 42 miles of all-electric range, most daily commutes can be completed without using a drop of gas. But unlike pure electric vehicles, there's no range anxiety. When the battery depletes, it functions like a regular hybrid, delivering an impressive 38 miles per gallon. The reliability data is particularly compelling. Toyota's hybrid systems have proven to be more reliable than their conventional powertrains, with fewer moving parts to fail. The battery packs are warranted for 10 years, or 150,000 miles, but many original Prius batteries are still performing well after 300,000 miles. Sarah from Colorado summed it up perfectly. I've had mine for 2 years and 45,000 miles. I fill up maybe once a month despite driving daily, and I've had zero issues beyond regular maintenance. The real-world ownership costs tell the story. Owners report spending 60 to 70% less on fuel compared to conventional SUVs, and the total cost of ownership actually undercuts many cheaper vehicles. The Mazda CX-90 represents everything that's right about modern Japanese engineering when it's done properly. This is Mazda's flagship SUV, and they've poured all their expertise into creating something special. First, safety. The CX-90 earned the coveted IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus award, the highest possible safety rating. This isn't just about crash protection, it's about advanced driver assistance systems that help prevent accidents in the first place. Inside, the CX-90 offers a genuinely luxurious experience that rivals European vehicles costing $20,000 more. The materials, fit and finish, and attention to detail are exceptional. One automotive journalist noted that, blindfolded, you'd think you were sitting in an Audi or BMW. What's particularly impressive is the powertrain flexibility. You can choose between a turbocharged inline-six or a plug-in hybrid system, both paired with a responsive 8-speed automatic transmission. Unlike some competitors that force you into a CVT, Mazda understands that driving enjoyment matters. Michael from Washington told me, after 3 European
creators looking for an edge over the competition? Get 50% off and stand out with just
After 3 European luxury SUVs that spent more time in the shop than on the road, I switched to the CX-90. It delivers 90% of the luxury experience with 10% of the headaches. The long-term value proposition is compelling too, with strong projected resale values. Sometimes the obvious choice is obvious for a reason. The Toyota Camry has been America's best-selling sedan for decades, and the latest generation shows exactly why this vehicle has earned its legendary status. The Camry consistently ranks at the top for reliability in its segment. In a recent Consumer Reports survey, it received a perfect 5 out of 5 reliability score, a rare achievement for any vehicle, regardless of price or country of origin. What many people don't realize is how much the Camry has evolved. No longer the boring appliance it was once derided as, the current model offers genuinely engaging handling, especially in the TRD and XSE trims, while maintaining the comfort that made it famous. The powertrain options are equally impressive. The standard 2.5-liter 4-cylinder delivers excellent fuel economy, up to 39 miles per gallon highway, while the available 3.5-liter V6 produces a robust 301 horsepower. The hybrid variant achieves an astounding 52 miles per gallon combined. James from Texas, who previously owned BMWs, shared, "I bought the Camry as a sensible car after getting tired of repair bills. 3 years in, I'm shocked by how much I enjoy driving it. It's comfortable, quick enough to be fun, and I've had literally zero issues beyond oil changes." When we talk about performance, we're not just measuring 0 to 60 times. Real-world performance is about how well a vehicle performs its intended function. And by that measure, the CR-V Hybrid is exceptional. The latest generation CR-V Hybrid combines Honda's legendary reliability with a sophisticated 2-motor hybrid system that delivers both efficiency and a surprisingly engaging driving experience. With 204 combined horsepower and instant electric torque, the CR-V Hybrid actually accelerates more briskly than its gas-only counterpart. Fuel economy is outstanding at 40 miles per gallon city, 35 miles per gallon highway, numbers that were unthinkable for a spacious SUV just a few years ago. But unlike some hybrids that achieve efficiency by feeling underpowered, the CR-V Hybrid actually feels more responsive than conventional alternatives. The interior is where the CR-V truly shines. Honda has mastered the art of space efficiency, creating a cabin that feels a class above in terms of roominess. The rear seats offer more legroom than some midsize SUVs. Lisa from Oregon explained, "We replaced our Subaru with the CR-V hybrid last year. It's just as capable in the snow with all-wheel drive, but we're saving about $1,200 annually on fuel. The interior is also noticeably more comfortable on long trips." The Subaru Outback defies easy categorization, which is precisely what makes it special. Whatever you call it, the Outback delivers a unique combination of capabilities that has earned it a devoted following. Standard symmetrical all-wheel drive sets the Outback apart from most competitors. This isn't an afterthought AWD system added to a front-wheel drive platform. It's the core of the vehicle's design, providing genuine all-weather capability and surprising off-road prowess. With 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than many real SUVs, the Outback can venture places most wagons wouldn't dare. Yet it maintains the lower center of gravity and car-like handling that make it more enjoyable to drive on pavement than traditional SUVs. The interior strikes a perfect balance between luxury and durability. Higher trims feature high-quality leather and an 11.6-inch vertical touchscreen, but everything is designed to withstand years of active lifestyle abuse. A luxury vehicle that doesn't mind getting dirty. Robert from Colorado, who previously owned a BMW X3, shared, "The Outback does 90% of what my X3 could do off-road, but it's more comfortable on long highway drives, gets better fuel economy, and costs about half as much to maintain."